Hi, this is Jason Fielder with the Daily Forex Report for November 26th. We're going to take a look at the US Japanese yen first. We have a range that I'm expecting to be as high as 96.74 and as low as 93.57. Now look for some resistance to come into this particular pair around 95.93 and look for some support around 94.92. This pair, of course, closed up for this session. It did go lower, but it didn't hit the mark as far as these lows like I thought it would. It did break and push lower, but not quite as low as I thought. But this pair is pretty much just moving sideways for the most part. But switching over to the Euro USD pair, this particular pair I'm expecting to move between 131.69 and on the lower side 126.93. Now look for some resistance around 129.50 and look for support around 126.93. Now this particular pair closed down. It did form an inside bar. You can definitely look for this particular pair, if it breaks either the high or the low, to take some pips out of the market there. If you're going short, look for it to push lower. I would have some targets in mind along the way that you may want to look at previous resistance and make sure that as you hit these marks that you bring your stop loss closer in, possibly to even to break even. But the first target I would have would be this session's high, then the second would be this session's high, and then the third, and where I would exit if it gets that low, would be this session's low if you're not stopped out already. But that's what I would look for initially, and you may want to basically look at a stop loss, have the target for this one, and use a 1-to-1, basically a distance from this low to this high for your target as far as your stop loss goes, and just flip it up on its head. Well, let's switch over to the pound US dollar pair. This particular pair moved lower. It also created an inside bar during this session. I don't like this one quite as much as the Euro USD. The targets aren't quite as easy to predict or to see as far as support and resistance. The Euro I just find to be a little bit cleaner, and the spread's usually less as well. Now, I am expecting this pair to move between 1.5604 on the high side, on the low side 149.99. Now look for some resistance to come in around 155.42 and look for support around 151.67 in this particular pair. Now looking at the US Swiss, what I'm looking for, as you can already tell, we have an overextended trade. We have roughly 43 pips from the open to the high of this particular trade, and it's already dipped down a little bit. You can wait for it to retrace and break back up. If it continues down, then no loss. If it does move higher, look to exit at this point. Use a 1-to-1 risk to reward stop loss for this particular trade. Now the trade I was looking for yesterday didn't occur. Obviously, this market pretty much just surged higher all through the rest of the session. We didn't get a dip, so there was really no scalping that was allowed at that point. There's no trade triggered, so we couldn't do it. Now I am looking for this pair to move as high as 121.66 and on the lower side 117.60. Look for some resistance around 121.32 and look for support around 118.40 for this particular pair. Now the Japanese yen has their CPI report being released for October. That's tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. The consensus is that it has dropped from 2.1% down to 1.7%, which would be really good news for the yen. They also have their retail trade being released for October at 6:50 p.m. tomorrow Eastern Time. The consensus is that it has gone up from negative 0.3% to negative 1%. I'm sorry, gone down from negative 0.3% to negative 1.0% for the retail trade, which is not good news for the yen. Pretty much markets are going to be quiet between now and Friday's session due to the U.S. holiday, the Thanksgiving holiday. If you do celebrate Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. If you don't, and your broker is open tomorrow, you definitely want to look at trading a counter trend strategy. If you have one, it'd be a great time when the market's quiet just to basically bounce off, sell on the highs and buys on the low. And do that several times during the next 24 hours. Should be able to make a decent amount of profit. Well, that about does it for today. Until tomorrow, good trading.